Welcome to In the Loop Podcast, a podcast that is inspired by the Western culture and the rodeo industry. I am your host, Jordan Joe Hullabaugh, professional rodeo athlete, business owner, married to my best friend, full-time cowgirl, and I am blessed to get to do what I love to do each and every day. My goal is to promote this industry and specifically the sport of breakaway roping. On In the Loop Podcast, we are bringing you behind-the-scenes stories of what real life looks like every day, from cowgirls, cowboys, industry producers, leaders, trailblazers, you name it, we talk about it. We are sharing stories of this Western culture and the lifestyle that they live daily. Join me as we share these stories of the amazing triumphs, trials, and victories, defining moments that we all have along this journey of the amazing way of life that we live. You are officially in the loop. Let's get to it. Okay, guys, so today I am here with a woman of many, many talents. Linsay Sumpter is joining us again. I have had Linsay on the show several times. Love having her. One of my dear friends. She is the women's head coach, not just women's head coach. She's a fabulous woman, but head coach at Otero Junior College. She is the Women's Rodeo World Championship commissioner, the commish. And also she is going to be the assistant coach for the free riders at the Kid Rock Rodeo coming up in May. So Linsay, thank you for coming to the show.
Hey, I am always glad to be here with you. I feel like it's back in the good old days when we used to drive across the country headed from Colorado to Reno, just you and me in the pickup. So
I think we sang Kid Rock. I think Picture was our go-to song there. Do you recall that?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'll get my chords out and we'll start playing it before we head to Arlington.
Oh, those are good times. And I think it is, we have been lifelong friends. You have been such a big part of the journey that I'm on, part of In the Loop podcast originating, even coming to fruition. So lots of history there. But what is new in your world? What's been going on?
We have been moving and shaking when it comes to all things women's rodeo. It's been crazy, and we're really trying to build these partnerships with different organizations and companies that are women-based. And so that we have some fun stuff coming out with some new sponsorship stuff with Women's Rodeo World Championship. We implemented the Last Chance qualifier that we did last year, but we're working with Cowgirl Gathering, and we'll kind of get into the weeds with that. We're going to AT&T.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Cool. And with that, there's going to be a lot of very good exposure. That's all I'm going to say right now. When it comes to some television stuff for female rodeo athletes that are going to be able to compete at AT&T. So our championship round are the ladies that are there, the 3 breakaway ropers, the 3 team ropers, and the 12 barrel racers, because we do let our barrel racers only run one time. They don't have to run their horses back to back. All of those runs will be together on May the 18th, AT&T, in conjunction with the PBR World Finals. We take over the whole arena. It's going to be pretty just awesome. And we got the chance to be there the other day. We did a little kind of promo photo shoot stuff, and you don't realize how large that arena is until you're in there. And they did have some dirt. They had the monster trucks, I think, a couple days before we were there, and that there was dirt in there, and kind of looking at how the arena is going to be set up. It's ginormous.
It is ginormous. And I'm very excited to announce that In the Loop is the official podcast of the Women's Rodeo World Championship. I'm so pumped to be there. We had a great time at Arlington doing all the things. We did freeze. It was cold in Texas that day, which I say freeze. It was 50. But
the day before it was 90. We would have been, It was like Mother Nature was being very bipolar, because the day before we would have been sweating, and the day of we were freezing. So
literally freezing. The wind was blowing. It looked like we had a photo shoot set up with the wind blowing intentionally, but that was not intentional. I know Jackie had hair stuck to her lipstick. Thank God you had more lipstick for us, and we had some amazing sunglasses, equipment, all the things, makeup. We've got some really cool things in the work. And one of the things I love about women's is you guys have really committed to laying the foundation for women's athletes, women's professional athletes. As I sit here and I look at these show notes that our lovely Sammy Jo kind of gave us to talk about, $3 million paid out to female athletes over the past 5 years. That's incredible.
Our bylaw number 1 is must be female born. And that is not to discredit anything. There's so many different flavors in the world anymore. And, we love everyone, but we at Women's Rodeo World Championship, more than anything, want to celebrate female rodeo athletes. In my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, female rodeo athletes have been underserved in the industry in the last, I don't know, forever, 50 years, however long you want to say. And it's always been sad to me that my generation, your mom, like after college rodeo, you either team roped or you were done roping. Like that was it. And it was sad that we kind of all had to stop, roping breakaway calves and all of that. And then, you hear a lot of like, oh, well, the girls aren't ready and they need to pay their dues and they need to do all these things. And I'm thinking in my mind, I feel like paying your dues for being excluded for 50 years is that's pretty good dues paying. But so for Women's Rodeo World Championship, obviously our partners are the PBR and the WCRA, and it is a very much a passion project for them, that they want to see that these women have a platform, have inclusivity, have equal money, have all of the things that they have been excluded on in the industry for the last 50 years, and they all come together. We want to be a place where the pros can come. Somebody maybe like myself who has a couple different irons in the fire and can't take the time to really travel as much and be on the road like you guys do as professional breakaway ropers, have a spot where they can go and win a big check and still have a chance to do that and still win really great money and, have a spot for these ladies to come be celebrated. We want more than anything that week of Women's Rodeo World Championship. Last year, Mayor Maggie Parker of Fort Worth, she's the only female mayor for a large metropolitan city. She proclamated that week, the week of Women's Rodeo World Championship. That week with Cowgirl Gathering and Women's Rodeo World Championship, we award $1.145 million to female rodeo athletes. And just to have that proclamation and have that week to celebrate. I mean, even if you're not a contestant, even if you're not entered at the Cowgirl Gathering or Women's Rodeo World Championship, because you do have to qualify for it, come enjoy it. Come see all of these ladies, because there's a spot for everybody. With the way that we have classified the ladies, with the challengers and the pros, it really gives a spot for kind of everybody, in my opinion. So really, we just be there for everybody.
And highlighting women. Everybody wants to be a cowgirl at some point in time. There's so much rich history in all of that, and it's something that we dream about, and highlighting other women. And I love how proactively everybody has come together, giving women this platform. Like you said, 50 years waiting is a long time, but there has been so much backstory to all of that we're forever grateful. We can't name all the names and all the people that have made this come into fruition. One of the cool things I want to talk about before we dive into how you get into Women's Rodeo World Championship, how you go to the Cowgirl Gathering, all those things, which we're going to talk about. Let's visit about the Pam Minnick Award that we've got going on. Tell us that story, because she has been such an icon in our history in women, not just for rodeo, but for breakaway roping, team roping. She's a world champion herself. I mean, tell us about the Pam Minnick Award.
Pam is amazing, and we kind of dubbed her our fairy godmother. When the PBR and WCRA came together, they bunched these very influential ladies in the industry to just kind of throw out hey, we want to have this rodeo that adds $750, $750,000. What do you think? What do you think is going to work? And they kind of played off of all of these ladies that they brought together about 6 or 7 years ago, because we're creeping on year 5 now, or year 4. So Pam, Sammy Joe, and I were watching the Super Bowl and watching the NFL honors, and they had the Walter Payton Award, in which everyone knows the Walter Payton Award. It's somebody who gives back to their community and does so much for their industry and has kind of a passion project. And craziness that Sammy Joe and I were both on our phones, and we're like, we have to do something. We have to do something like that. We have to figure out some sort of community award, some sort of award to celebrate ladies in the Western industry, which, we have a partnership with the Cowgirl Hall of Fame and Museum there in Fort Worth. And it is so beautiful. And there's so many places like that, but we wanted to have somebody to celebrate for Women's Rodeo World Championship. And who better than our fairy godmother of Pam Minnick? You know, like you said, she's a world champion roper. She's won, I don't know how much, showing ranch horse versatility now. She's the first women rodeo announcer. She's, you know, she started the commentating for rodeo athletes. You know, she did all of those things. So, I mean, it was just easy. And our thought process behind it was we can, if we incorporate Pam, we can let her decide what she wants her Lifetime Achievement Award to be and how she wants it to be given, and have her just always be part of something that she helped start. So we did that last year. We gave her the Lifetime Achievement Award, obviously, because she gets the first one. And so this year will be the second one. But really, it's somebody, a woman in the industry, doesn't necessarily have to be a competitor, who has advocated for ladies, who has really tried to push female representation within the rodeo Western lifestyle industry. And, you know, just someone who just has a passion for giving back to the females in the industry. And that's kind of what Pam wanted it to be. And we couldn't have dreamt of it being any better than that. And we're so excited, and hope we have hopefully a trick up our sleeves for Pam Minnick this year. So,
oh boy, I can't wait. I'm sure she's got a trick coming back for y'all. She is one of the spunkiest women I have ever been around, and somebody I call a lot too. She's probably like, oh gosh, Jordan is calling me again. But you know, one thing that I heard over and over and over in that statement that you were talking about, Pam, is giving back to women helping women. And that's something I think is overrated in our industry a lot. I think it's misperceived as we're competitors against each other. But as we've seen, as these instrumental women have come together, they're strong, they're powerful, they're independent. They've come together, such as you, Sammy Jo, Pam, all the ladies involved in making this happen. Amazing things happen. When we've all put our heads together, amazing things happen.
Everyone, I think that women sometimes underestimate the power of the sisterhood that we all can have. And if we work together, and that's, I mean, the industry is too small to fight each other, right? We have to celebrate the WPRA. The WPRA should celebrate us. We have to celebrate the PRCA. I mean, I went to the NFR Breakaway this year. I had never been out in Vegas the time that it happened. And I honestly was almost just like taken just in awe of how challenging that setup is for the ladies.
Yep.
I had no idea, because I had watched it. I knew it was fast. I knew that you guys were running cabs back to back, but I didn't realize that if you had to use the restroom, that there was no possible way that you could do it. You were going to pee your pants.
Don't drink anything the day of the NFBR, FYI.
Because it went so fast that I was like, golly, you couldn't change a lot of things. If you didn't have a team behind you, you couldn't change a whole lot when you were there. And it took me back, and it made me a little bit sad that I understand. I mean, I grew up in the industry of rodeo is a show, and we produce a show, because if it wasn't for the fans in the seats, that we wouldn't have, we wouldn't have a rodeo, we wouldn't have the added money, we wouldn't have all of those things. And those are important. And I understand the value of the show aspect of the production. But I was just like, oh my gosh, and it makes me upset for the ladies that worked so hard on numerous occasions, which, ad breakaway, whatever. I mean, here's what I want. I want for you guys more than anything to have equal money. I don't care if you rope a breakaway calf out here in my pasture, but I want you to have equal money. And that should be the fight, in my personal opinion, because you guys will rope anywhere, but let you rope. If you invite me to dinner and you're having steak and you give me a peanut butter and jelly and you want me to be happy about it, I don't see how that happens. And it's not just us as breakaway, because, I made the circuit finals. I'm going to the rodeos too. It's just sad that it's okay. And it is 2024. And it's not that there isn't partners that want to help everyone to be, successful and to have equal added money. It's just so many hoops to get over. And it goes back to that sisterhood of like, we should fight together instead of fighting against each other. I mean, there's my soapbox. It's probably controversial and it probably will upset some people. And I don't mean for it to, but if you invite somebody to dinner, give them the same meal. That's all. That's my topic.
I love the fact, I mean, that's a great analogy when you think of
Mhm.
it that way. But here's one thing that I do love about professional women breakaway ropers right now. I feel like everybody has stuck their head down and taken the Michael Jordan approach and been like, we're going to let the results show you.
Mhm.
That breakaway roping all year long, in the past 6 months, has changed so dramatically. That is one of the things, and I ask a lot of questions. I try to ask questions from people that know about it, that don't know about it. If you have somebody in your family or your friends that don't know about anything we do, those are the people to ask because I love their input the most because they're not familiar. But I think
Mhm.
it's really cool. They're like, I love watching Breakaway. It's fun. You guys have done a great job. And these winter rodeos have really shown up and shown out. I'm proud of women
Crazy.
ropers as a whole. The professionalism, the way they
Mhm.
look, their horses, their roping. Man, I'm just
Oh,
proud to be a woman breakaway roper. And,
I agree.
obviously we have dreams and we have goals, we have aspirations. We want what we want. We're women, we're hard headed. But at the end of the day, I am proud as a group as a whole. They've stepped up and they've shown up as professionals.
Mhm.
And, I think that the sky's the limit for where it goes. I think we got to keep our head down and keep doing our job. But that's a topic for another day. We'll come back, Lindsay and Jordan, part 500 on this.
I
So
know. Mhm.
let's jump in. Let's talk about all things women's rodeo world finals. Okay. You have to have qualified at this point to get in. Top 20. There's been chances all year long. Anywhere you go, jackpots, rodeos, I mean, literally anywhere you go, if it's on the app, you nominate it. If it's not, you write it up, send it in, and you can nominate it. Uh,
Absolutely.
it's something I've done all year long I nominated for Guthrie, which was, and I know WCRA is a huge part of what we do, but Guthrie, it was a great event, turned out really good for me. I loved being a part of it, being there. Very blessed to have the win there. But Guthrie, Corpus Christi, Women's Rodeo World's Championship Finals. There's the last chance qualifier. So talk about the process, what you guys have seen as women have nominated this year. What do those numbers look like and what has changed from this year to last year?
Well, we went through our qualifiers. So, okay, top 20 in the leaderboard in the challenger and top 20 in leaderboard in the pro. So,
Yep.
we have, like we said, we have two different classifications. To be a pro, you have to have 30,000 lifetime earnings or win 10,000 or less annually. In the breakaway, in the barrel race, it's less than $20,000 annually and 100,000 lifetime earnings. And in the team roping, it's a team roper 4.5 and lower is a challenger. So those are the different classifications. So what that does is it allows you to kind of stay in your lane in the sense that if you're going to Fowler Roping Club and it's a 3 for 100 breakaway jackpot, you can nominate that. You can accumulate points at that. If I'm going to Houston, I can nominate Houston, accumulate points at Houston. But it just kind of gives you that avenue to where if you're one of those gals that maybe I don't think it's necessarily that you don't rope as well, it's the less exposure. It's the I only go to jackpots from May until August, September, and then once the weather gets crummy, I'm toast, right? I put my
Different
horse in
lifestyles.
different lifestyles, and it's awesome. It's a great tool. So top 20 in the leaderboard. Then we have qualifier series, and the qualifier series are kind of geographically kind of all over the country. There's 8 in each discipline. And what that does is the highest nominated cowgirl who wins the highest, not necessarily wins the whole roping, because if the cowgirl, like if you didn't nominate the roping and you won the roping, but I won third and I was the highest nominated cowgirl, I get the QS spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the qualifier series, those 8. And then we did partner with the Cowgirl Gathering, which is May the 9th through the 12th. And they have a barrel race, they have a team roping, and they have a breakaway. And what we have started to see is this great new chance for ladies to get more bang for their buck. And so with the last chance qualifier, it's a side pot. Okay. So you enter on Next Gen Rodeo and you can click on the side pot. And what that does is it gives you a nomination for the whole Cowgirl Gathering, a nomination for the side pot, and then your chance, if you weren't in the top 20, to get qualified in. Now there's a scale on if there's 5 girls that enter the last chance qualifier, or there's 50 girls that enter the last chance qualifier. There's a scale on there on how many girls that we're going to let in to Women's Rodeo World Championship, which starts on May the 13th. So you would know if you got in or not. And it's like, the next day that we start round 1 on May the 13th. So with that side pot, like I said, you get a nomination to the whole Cowgirl Gathering, the side pot, and it's a QS, it's a qualifier series for 2025.
So basically you're saying if I haven't nominated all year long, I have a lifestyle that it just hasn't worked out. You're not coming, but you're like, hey, guess what? May 12th, Cowgirl Gathering. I want to be there. It's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. It's probably going to be really nice, hopefully. And who doesn't want to go to Stockyards and rope? And so you can show up and you have 3 different chances through the overall qualification, the side pot qualification, and also the 2025 qualification. So, hey, it might work out for you all 3 ways, different 3 ways, but 3 different chances for 1 entry. I think that is really something that's neat, that you guys have really come together and worked together to help benefit the Cowgirl in totality.
And it wouldn't be made possible without the producers. The Equine Sports Alliance has implemented some side pots at their barrel races, and we have had a lot of success with those, and the ladies really like it. There's instant gratification that if you won on that side pot, we will pay it out. It's not a non-payout. It is paid out, and we have added money to the side pot as well. So, we're really looking at these different chances to work with producers to have these side pots and to really develop the technology that Next Gen Rodeo has. I mean, that's just another sister company to the WCRA and Women's Rodeo World Championship, and what they're trying to do to really build the data so that we can kind of see where the numbers really are playing is pretty cool. So, I mean, there's just so many opportunities. And on the site, so like if the entry fee for Cowgirl Gathering, I don't even know, what is it, like $350 or $500?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. The side pot is $150. So it's not a crazy, it's not like $1,000 to enter the side pot. It's $150 to enter the side pot. And if you're going, in my opinion, you should enter the side pot because there's a lot of bang right there for your buck.
Yeah. Well, and the side pot is always the way my husband always has me look at that. He's like, it's 100% payback there. So, if you're going to go and you're going to put your money up, you need to be entered in the side pot.
Well, and there's sometimes that you might not get a check in the average or get a check in the big roping, but you rope good and you might win the side pot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of, anymore with the way that fuel prices are and then how much it costs to just have a pickup and trailer and a dang horse anymore. You got to try to capitalize on all the opportunities that you get to make sure that you can, keep your money flow working out.
And I think it is. And I think too, the cool thing is, okay, so you rope May 12th, right then, Cowgirl Gathering, you're in or you're not. And then the next day is the start round 1 of the Women's Rodeo World Championship Finals. So you're going to be right there in Fort Worth. And then you just roll right into the next week of competition. And your boss will probably give you that week off because they want you to win that big check and hold it up. $750,000 awarded at this event. I know that there's been so many women, Kelsey Domer last year, Martha Angeloni, Jackie Crawford.
Qualifier last year.
Kelsey did.
All the way through the last chance qualifier and then won it at the end, which is amazing. I mean, there's just, it's so fun to think that, and you used to be a team roper. Don't forget that.
I know. So I talked to Martha Angeloni and Jamie Markham about that just a little bit this year. I really did want to jump in and get involved, but I'm too far behind to get my points yet. And I haven't team roped for, probably 6 or 7 years. I'm not even sure how that would go right now. So next year, I'm probably going to have to crack my team rope and ropes back out, get my ropes ready and take a chance, because when there's that kind of money awarded, it's just really silly. It's silly not to put your hat in the
183,000 in the heading and 183,000 in the heeling, 183,000 in the barrels, and 183,000 in the breakaway. So if you were going to go to a rodeo that added 183,000, I think that you would enter it.
I think I probably would too. I think you're calling me stupid, but no, I'm not going to take it that way. Honestly, though, it's insane if you're not a part of it. It really is. Like, there's just no reason not to, especially. So I would probably be a challenger now because I haven't team roped for several years. I haven't had a number in 10 years. So I could probably be in on the challenger pool.
It would just depend upon where your classification was. Yeah, for sure.
And I love that too, because that's the cool thing. There's no black and white. There's no, well, we kind of want Jordan in here to rope or not. No, it's like, here's the rules. You're either a pro or you're a challenger, and then you go on your way, and then you end up at the same. But one thing I love to see, and especially I know I'm partial to breakaway roping, it doesn't matter whether you're a pro or a challenger anymore. You come out there, you have a great horse, you draw a great calf, you're in the winner's circle, and it doesn't matter whether you do it every day or you have different lifestyle options. Like, that's the cool part about it to me.
It is the cool part. And once you get comfortable in a building or in a setup, I mean, when you first time you go to Houston, your eyes are this big and you're like, holy crap, I just, or I want to go to Fort Worth, wherever it is, then you get 3 chances and you're like, oh, no big deal. Here we go. And I mean, so the further you get, because we have, round 1, round 2, semifinals, championship round, and then kind of like the shootout type round where everybody kind of comes together. I mean, you can get super comfortable and just look at what happened, like you said, at the Winter Rodeos, 1-5.
So in that performance at San Antonio that we're talking about, Danielle Lohman comes out 1-6. Shay Schaefer follows that 1-5, breaks the arena record. I think there was 5 or 6 girls that had been 1-6 that week and tied the arena record, which I think Kelsey had set was either 1-6 or 1-7. So Shay Schaefer now holds the arena record, 1.5 seconds, made it look just effortless and seamless. And I mean, it's amazing.
She's like, holy smokes, I don't even think she did. It was fun to see. I mean, it is crazy what's happening in the industry and in the sport of breakaway roping. It's so fast and it's so, I mean, I don't even want to call it's gunslinging, but then there's so much timing and accuracy behind it. And I think we always thought women, if men were allowed to breakaway rope, it might look different, right? But I don't know if they could do it faster. Honestly,
I tell you, somebody told Raymond, I won't name the name, but he is a world champion tie down roper at the Roping the other day in Granbury. He said, I would not be a breakaway roper because I can't throw it that fast. I can't even think about throwing it that fast. And I'm not saying, I know that if that was what they did, they were going to practice and I know they would step their game up. But I thought that was really cool to see a guy that had won the world champion tie down roper within the last 5 years say, I don't want to be a breakaway roper. This is the nastiest event I've ever seen. And so I thought that was a pretty cool compliment.
I think it's awesome. And Wade and I were talking about it, and I said, well, I'm just ready for everybody to come back up here where we got to score them like their whole body like that. We got to run and do cowboy stuff because that's more my jam. So like, you guys can have that real fast stuff. I like cowboy stuff out here because it's a little more my style.
I tell you what, it is. And I think that that's something too that I noticed has changed and evolved too, is there was a handful of women that could adapt to all the setups, whether it's fast, long, short, slow, walking fresh, old calves, whatever it may be. Now it's just everybody can do it. And I'm like, where? And they're still coming. You guys have said that you guys have over 3,000 active breakaway ropers within your database. And that's not including all of the little children that are coming up continually practicing breakaway roping right now. It's going to be crazy. I mean, just like the other day we talked, and I know that the WCRA is going to be a huge conjunction with Chris Neal and Kimes Ranch $1 Million Breakaway. Anybody with a breakaway rope can enter. And I just, the WCRA was one of the first people that gave women an equal platform like we are talking about earlier. It's just amazing all the good things that are going on in the breakaway world.
It is. And I think that it's fun to hear ladies like you even say that out loud, that the WCRA was one of the first to have equal money for the female breakaway ropers and barrel racers. Everybody has equal money. Yep. And the equality across the board is all that anybody should ever really strive for. Yep. I mean, that's just plain and simple. And Women's Rodeo World Championship wants to make sure that team roping females get equal money. The breakaway, the barrel race, everybody is at an equal playing field when it comes to the money and how it's being divided out. That is definitely a passion thing for me that, you don't, the numbers aren't as high in the lady team roping as it is in the breakaway and the barrel race, obviously. And, it's like, well, maybe we should cut their money back a little bit and pay more over here because, there's only 300 female healers in the world, right? No, we're going to have equal money no matter what. And that's definitely something that is big for me as the commissioner, to make sure that we have equality across the board for all female athletes.
Well, and two, as a team roper, I know that, a decade ago, breakaway was small, team roping was huge because there were so many more opportunities via team roping to win money, to have a career, to move on after college, go to the bigger events. And so I'm excited to see, now that you guys have brought back the equality across the board, how team roping grows too. There can be more ladies start to rope, more young ladies start to rope and invest in their heading and their healing. When you have a chance to run at $180,000 added rodeo every year, that's been guaranteed for the last 4 to 5 years, that makes a big difference in what you decide to commit to every day. So I'm excited to see how everybody, not just breakaway, I know we're partial to that, and team roping, barrel racing, I'm just excited to see it all grow. And you guys are a big part of that.
Yeah. And really, the hardest part was, and this, because you're like me, we went to the first one not knowing what it was. We knew that there was 700, as contestants, we went with 750,000 added for female rodeo. We went to Fort Worth, we went to Vegas. And then after Vegas, I started to be I was, I guess, hired as the commissioner. And so I've been a commissioner since then. Appointed, and I took a step back on the contestant side, at least for women's. I just don't feel that it's I don't feel that it's right that somebody who's in charge and understands the rules and understands the game, and because it is a game. I mean, you have to nominate, and there's strategic planning behind where you're going to nominate and making sure that you have the highest amount of, you nominate the places that you're going to have the highest amount to get points and highest opportunity to get points. So, I took a step back on the contestant side to compete at Women's Rodeo World Championship, but really the education side is the hardest. So being here with you and in the loop, and how much, reach you have, your wings are wide when it comes to your podcast, to make sure that these ladies know that there's a chance, there's an opportunity for them with us, and really just growing the education side of it, because it is a little daunting to think, okay, I got to go on my phone, I got to find my event, I got to make sure it's in there. And if it's not in there, then I need to do this. And I need to call events at wcrarodeo.com and make sure that it's in. And I mean, it can be a little tricky in the beginning. Once you get the hang of it, it's no harm, no foul, right? It's easy. You push a button, it's done. And you go on with your bad self. And you can nominate events. Say, what you're going to go to on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can nominate on Monday. Go in the app. Be done with it, and then you don't get to the rodeo. Maybe you hit traffic, you get a little stressed, and you forget, oh, dang it, it's the rodeo started and I can't nominate now, because it has to be before the rodeo starts. So, just the education side of making sure that everybody knows, go on the app, download the app, find your event, build your profile, you'll get classified as a female, and make sure that you just kind of understand the process. It can be a little daunting, but once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. And we are more than happy to walk anybody through. We have support staff on multiple levels. Call me, I know that you would help answer any questions anybody has either, but it's cool to see that now, finally, 5 years later, everyone's kind of understanding it, and understanding the format with the challenger and the pro, and understanding that there's that much money added, and understanding that, go round one, go round two, we take the fast time and we take in the average. So if, depending on what kind of roper you are, or say you have a bad go and you break the barrier, or you miss in the first round, you still got a chance to advance with the way that the formatting is for Women's Rodeo World Championship once you get there, because you can advance on the average or you can advance on the fast time. And so we're really trying to just kind of open the doors and open the avenues so that everybody can kind of come in and have a spot at the table, for sure.
Well, and a few things I want to add to that. I want to say thank you to you, because I do know what a commitment it was, and a hard choice to make, to say, hey, like, I'm going to take a back seat I am going to serve for women, and I'm going to take, because there's so much that goes into doing what you have done and do for women as a producer, as an advocator, a leader, all the things. Like, I just want to say thank you on behalf of women everywhere for making that commitment, taking that time, and really taking one for the team so that we get to have these opportunities, because I think that that's underwarranted. Everybody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to do it. You said, hey, I'm going to do this. I made that commitment. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. And I know that many other women do. And all these young ladies that are coming up and going to have this opportunity are really going to appreciate it. Secondly, I want to say women are so brilliant. Like, we pretty much run the world, right? And so it's like, yes, it is a little bit of a daunting thing once you get on there, but once you get on there, it's like nobody's business. If you want to use my code and save 10%, you can. Hollabaugh 10. But it's really fun to kind of, like, once you get in a routine, which I know most all of these women who are listening to this show, you don't have time. Is not just like, we're not sitting there eating bonbons, like getting fanned, by whomever and getting massages and facials and all that stuff all the time. We don't have the time. We're on a tight schedule. We're working. We're moms. We're cowgirls. We're wives. We're doing all the things and making it happen, and then maybe do stuff for us. So you can get it in. You can schedule it. Bam. It honestly, I do. I go through my schedule every week, and I'm like, where am I going? I try to make my strategic decisions. Excuse me. Sometimes I nominate. Sometimes I don't. And, one of the mistakes I made earlier, I didn't nominate the American. I missed it because I got there, like you said, I was running behind, and it was something to where I've missed it. And so I missed out on a lot of good points there. And so now I've really been cautious of like, hey, where am I going this week? I make sure and take care of my nominations. It takes me 5 seconds. I get on there. I have my email confirmation, and then I roll on with my day because I know it's been taken care of. And so a lot of that stuff is something that it's just part of the thing I've worked into my routine. We're brilliant. We can figure it out. And the best thing is too, if you can't, there has not been a time when I've called day or night, texted anybody on the WCRA support team, WRWC, that has not returned my phone call and or email very, very fast and been like, I said, hey, I have a really stupid question. Can you help me? And they're like, yes, no problem. So there really is no obstacle for you not to have your hat in the basket and get to rope as a women's professional roper at the Women's Rodeo World Championship.
Amen. Mic drop.
Hallelujah.
I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, really, more than anything, we want that week with Cowgirl Gathering on May 9th through the 12th, and then May 13th through the 16th is our preliminary rounds. And then the 17th is the Kid Rock Rodeo, and the 18th is when the Cowgirls take over Cowboy Stadium, and we're going to rock the house there, probably to a sold out crowd because it's the second weekend of the PBR World Finals. There's going to be so many people in AT&T Stadium to be there to watch the ladies win their $60,000 checks. I mean, and it's not just 60,000, it pays all the way down. We pay a lot of places in the go arounds. We pay a lot of places in the average. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for checks. And it's kind of probably just me as a contestant. I'm always like, people say, well, all the money just goes to the top. I'm like, not really, because for me, it's a successful week when you're around that many amazing competitors to say like, well, I didn't win first, but I got a check, I cleared some money. I kind of paid my fuel bill. I paid my way, we don't have any entry fees once you get qualified there. So, whatever you win is just icing on the top of the cake, and so there's just so much that week that take the week off of work. I mean, all of us have PTO. It's March now. We know, hopefully all of us have PTO unless you work for yourself and then you never get a day off.
Never had a day off.
Never. Yeah. But, just think of it as I'm going to take that whole week off. I'm going to celebrate women in the industry. I'm going to hang out in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm going to maybe take in a PBR World Finals, maybe go to the Cowgirl Gathering Essex Exchange and the fashion show, and there's going to be shopping there, and then, head to the Kid Rock Rodeo and check that out because it's kind of a new concept, and, go to May the 18th to the World Finals and watch the best female athletes compete at biggest stage that there is in rodeo at this point.
And also, let's kind of throw in a little bit of a teaser here. The 17th, Kid Rock Rodeo. The 18th, women are going to rock AT&T.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Kid Rock Rodeo. Everybody is buzzing about that. We're going to have an announcement on the 12th of March about the official draft. There's been an unofficial draft already. We don't know about.
There was a private draft on February the 27th at Tana Hills in Fort Worth. And there's 6 teams. The team's coaches are just a couple guys, no big deal. Trevor Brazil, Cody Ole, Fred Whitfield, Charmaine James. I mean, never heard of her.
Just a few.
And Sid Steiner, and then Bobby Moat. And under those coaches, they hired assistant coaches, and I'm Bobby's assistant coach. We're team free riders. We're going to bleed blue because we got the best color. So I'm pumped about that. Some of the colors, I'm like, whoo, I'm real glad we didn't get orange because that's not really my jam.
Well, and I'm excited too. Like your team, so they've drafted everybody else on the teams, but your team, which I'm pumped because I'm going there, is Corpus Christi. So whoever wins first and second in each discipline, in each event at Corpus Christi, is going to get to be a free rider contestant. So, I mean, how cool the opportunity. Yes, you could have applied for the draft, and how cool that those people got drafted, but also, hey, it's open to the world. Everybody can come. Everybody can be a part of Kid Rock Rodeo. Get entered at Corpus Christi. The nominations are over in April. The event is in May, right before the Cowgirl Gathering, all those things. I mean, there's like my calendar is booked.
Oh, I know. I mean, I have to go to Nashville for the party and the draft announcement on March the 12th. I come home.
She has to go to Nashville to Kid Rock's bar. I mean, isn't that depressing? Kind of. I mean, do you think he'll sing with you?
I doubt it. I don't know if I have that. Like, I would have to be a little. I would have to have some liquid encouragement, maybe to do that. I don't know. But so I go to Nashville on the 12th. And then I come home, and then I leave for the 14th to go to Gillette, Wyoming. I mean, talk about 2 different worlds. You go from Nashville to the Kid Rock draft reveal to Gillette, Wyoming to the college rodeo. And then we go college rodeo until the end of April. And then we pretty much go to Corpus Christi and fill our team. And I'm so excited. It almost gives me like knots in my stomach because there was some strategy behind who got drafted and who got put on what teams. And I'm excited for those to be revealed and everybody to kind of know, but we don't get to know who's on our team until pretty much May the 11th is our finals at Corpus Christi. So May the 11th, Bobby and I will actually know who the 2 individuals are on our team because it's a different concept. It's a team concept of rodeo. There's a guarantee for the contestants that compete, but the team is who's going to win, and it's 2 bareback riders, 2 bronc riders, 2 team roping teams, 2 steer wrestlers, 2 calf ropers, 2 breakaway ropers, and 2 barrel racers. And so that team competes in a bracket system. The team with the most wins in the bracket system go on to a head-to-head competition against, the free riders, obviously, because we're going to be there in the finals. So riders against whoever comes up, underneath on the other brackets.
But already some major smack talk going on here.
I don't know. I'm just going to put in the universe that we're going to be there at the end. Because here's my thing. And when we were having discussions there, I said, hey, here's the deal. Our team is coming off of a win. They're not coming off of an injury. They're not coming off of a hiatus because the spring rodeos in California are over and there's not a lot to go to in May. And you can kind of take a little break. You could take a 3-week break and maybe that's good for some, but some it's not better for, some that doesn't help them as contestants. Our team is going to be made up of winners already. So, I mean, come on.
That's a good strategy. I like your strategy. We need to get a podcast of all these coaches on here and get their take on it and see what they're thinking about. Maybe we'll get some major bleeping and strategic talking going on.
There was some serious smack talking. I'll tell you that. And then they're like, telling Bobby and I, how's it feel? You're just sitting there. You don't even get to pick your team, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, That's what you think.
But I
Because
know different.
no different, because the biggest thing is that it's new, and there was a lot of people that maybe didn't declare for the draft. And so if they didn't, they can still nominate and get into Corpus. So now Bobby and I kind of compiled a list of contestants that maybe didn't know about it or weren't educated about it, that, you know, maybe we could help them understand the concept of WCRA and get to Corpus Christi and then maybe win first or second. So, you know,
No big deal. Just throwing it out there.
yeah. So if you didn't declare for the draft, which I know that you did, and I know that you're on the leaderboard for Corpus Christi, because I had like this whole notebook. Look, it's right here. This is my notebook full of everything, of like who nominated and who's on the leaderboard, so I could kind of like go through the list and like make sure I knew where was what. I mean, go win first or second. I want you on my team.
I'm excited just because rodeo is such an individual sport. And, you know, even myself being a part of the Ag Truck Trader, they started a new team concept, just being as a sponsored team. Okay. So that's been really fun to like learn about the other events and cheer them on. Now we have an actual opportunity at Kid Rock Rodeo to cheer for our team. Like we literally, like, they win, you win. So like if I had that opportunity, like I'm gonna have to start studying on all the things, like, you know, start working out more with Doug, get my flank ropes and stuff, you know, figured out, and, you know, get some bulldoggers into shape. And I mean, you know, like we want to win.
Only your team can help you, right? So a lot of times you have Raymond in the corner with you.
Mm-hmm. No.
If you do not have a jersey on the free rider team, I can help you. Bobby can help you. Your teammates can help you. That's it. Like, that's the only people that can help you, is somebody in your same jersey. So
I love that. I'm excited. I think it's going to be so much fun just to have a different concept in rodeo, putting a new spin on rodeo. You know, I know change is hard, but this is an exciting change, and I'm just excited to see where it all takes us with the Kid Rock Rodeo too.
And I was telling them, like, I mean, you were a coach for a lot of years too. Like, the team concept is not new for us. Like, we strategically, there's strategic planning that goes into who you put on your team on a college rodeo standpoint. So I kind of have a little bit of that always kind of brewing on the team side. Mm-hmm. And so when they're like, what do you think about the team thing? I'm like, it's old hat for me. I mean, I'm 15 seasons into being a college rodeo coach. I know all about, you know, who you put on your team and how to play it around. So, and then, you know, being in the industry the way that I have been, I know a lot about all the events. So it's easy for me to I can talk bucking horses, and there is no bull riding because it is during the PBR World Finals. So there's no bull riding during the Kid Rock Rodeo, but it's fun to kind of know that. I mean, I've been recruiting, I'll tell you that.
Well, I know there's so much that you can't tell us, so I appreciate you talking about it. But I do. I think it's exciting. Y'all, there's so many opportunities for women, for the sport of rodeo in totality, and all of these things. Linsay, I'm so excited. We're going to talk more on this podcast, y'all. Stay with us. The next few weeks, we're going to be talking about all things women's rodeo. We're going to get behind the scenes from contestants, competitors, and all the things. If you're not entered, if you haven't nominated, go nominate now. Get started. And it's never too late.
Well, April 14th is when the cutoff is. Yep. So April 14th is the cutoff for Women's Rodeo World Championship. April 6th is the cutoff for Rodeo Corpus Christi if you're interested in to try to get to Rodeo Corpus Christi. So, but April 14th is the cutoff date for nominations for Women's Rodeo World Championship 24. And then April 15th, 25 will start. So if this maybe 24 wasn't your jam and you're thinking, I want to be there for 25, the new year, like our year starts in April. So April 15th is the start of the new year.
Yeah. And it's an opportunity that you're crazy for not taking, giving yourself that chance. If you've ever roped breakaway tie down, well, I guess there's no tie down yet. Maybe women's tie down is something we should add. No, not really. I don't like to get mauled. I get mauled all the time when I enter the tie down. Let's not do that. Okay. So we have breakaway, team roping, heading, heeling, equal money for both, and barrel racing for the women's rodeo. So y'all go and get your 25 nominations, 24 nominations, whatever it may be. Get your name in the hat. It's crazy not to be there. Linsay, it's been great talking to you today on all the things. I can't wait to see you over the next few months, and we'll catch you down the road.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And Women's Rodeo World Championship, WRWC.rodeo, if you need more information.